Hello and welcome back to another FPL 4BZ video. It's wonderful to have you with me here today. If you're new, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe, hit the like, as well as the notification bell so you know when we'll be releasing our next video. Now if you're in a horrible situation like me and you saw Sweden get knocked out and you had a couple of their players in your fantasy team, you must be crying inside. Just like me. But I have come up with a strategy that I explained more in depth yesterday, but we're going to see more of it in this video and how I will be structuring those transfers leading up to the final, which perhaps will help you from taking the -4 hit, or even worse, losing all of your eggs that you put into one basket, just like I have. Now first, check out the video link there for yesterday's video to understand a bit more the concept behind the graphics you're going to be seeing now. And of course, if you're new, that Twitter link in the description below, go ahead and follow me there. I'll be updating the graphics and so on as we go through so that you can follow me along on the journey and perhaps take your mini league as well. Now, where should we be making transfers in order to safeguard ourselves, of course, against those horrible outcomes which we have seen recently? Just to give you an idea of where I am at, and perhaps you might be in a similar basket. On screen here we have the fixtures on both the left and right hand side. Now it's important to see where the teams will be coming in and where they'll be leading to that final place. The numbers that you see on the right hand side of the first set of fixtures are of course the semi-finals, and that's the number of players that I currently have that will be going through. Likewise on the right hand side, and of course the boxes in the middle, you'll see the worst case and the best case. And as you can see right now, potentially I would only have one player playing in the final, even after bringing in 4 transfers now, which is pretty crazy. My best would be 6. That's with no hits, of course. So as we see here, my transfers, which you're more than welcome to leave your comments and tell me that I'm crazy about, but this is the combination I've gone for. Of course, there are many different transfers that you can bring in that would be better, or that you might think are better, but for me, considering the numbers and how the teams will be structured and going through, rather how the matches will be structured and how they will be going through, it's imperative for me to bring in a Swiss player, a Spanish player, a Czech Republic player, and an England player. Now, I unfortunately, just simply due to the fact that I neglected thinking about this process, I'm going to have to take a -4 hit to bring in Yarmolenko to balance out my numbers. What this means, however, for me, if I do bring in Yarmolenko, is that I have at least one player coming through from that fixture between Ukraine and England, which help my numbers gently progress. Now, let's see what happens when I move towards those transfers and where I need to do them in order to increase that number of players playing in the final without me having to take a -4 hit. So as you can see on the left hand side, I need to do at least 2 transfers between the quarterfinal and the semi-final. Now regardless of who wins, it doesn't matter who wins, I need to do 2 transfers from that side to increase my numbers. That would, as you can see, I have 2 Belgian players, 3 Italian players, 1 Swiss and 1 Spanish, carrying through at least 1, 2 or 3. But if I bring in the 2 transfers on this side, it increases that number to 3 and 2. So I have 5 players on that side during the semi-finals playing. And of course, on the other set of semi-final fixtures, once I bring in 3 transfers there, I'll have at least 4 players, making my total 9, or 6, making my total 11. That's pretty good for the semi-finals, considering I'm not going to need to take a hit. But that, of course, has come from where I balance out the transfers on the previous quarterfinal fixtures in order to get to this position. Now, you can see in the final, all of a sudden, I've gone from my worst case, 1 player going through, if the worst case happened and there were upsets all the way through, or my best is now 7, which is fantastic. It's increased dramatically just by balancing out those transfers. So now it's important to understand after the semi-finals where I need to split those 5 transfers between the fixtures in order to safeguard myself against another upset and increase my probability, of course, of having more players. So as we can see now, with the 5 transfers, I need to have 3 from the left-hand side of those fixtures and 2 coming in from the right-hand side, which then increases my probability of having 9. 9 is my best, and of course 7 is the worst case without taking a hit, which is not so bad. If I wanted to take a hit there and take a -4, I could increase that number to 10 and so on and so forth. So I'm going to be taking that -4 hit now in the quarterfinals. Why? Because I still think that there's a big possibility of differentials in this group of stages, because there's more players playing, because there's more teams playing. As you move into the semifinals and of course the final, there's less players that might be differentials and adding to your mini league. So for me, I think it's valuable to take the -4 hit now instead of doing it later. But right now I'm looking at -4 for this quarterfinals. And of course, if I took -4 hits throughout, it would then be a total of -12. Now, if I look at my average points during the lineup, match day 1, match day 2, match day 3, of course, the last 16, I have an average of 50 points, 51.5 if we get into it. And taking a -4 hit on that seems to be a bit crazy, but of course I'm playing with less players. That is the balancing act that you would have to work out for yourself and of course your team. Now, I really hope that this video has illustrated to you where you should maybe be making those transfers. And if you are feeling lucky, hey, go with the odds and bet on the better team winning. But you may have to take more hits if you lose players in certain fixtures in certain teams. So if that's the way you want to go, you might get bigger points. But from what I can see on the average of numbers and where the players will be coming from, perhaps you can win your mini league simply by being that average number. Who knows? But what we do know is that there's going to be some exciting fixtures coming up on Friday. I look forward to hearing your comments down below. And of course, until next time, bye-bye.